This is a presentation for WLC 310 on Spanish football or soccer, presented by Ethan Ulrich, Spencer Gorel, and Stephanie Gorel. Spanish soccer began really taking place in Spain late in the 1800s. Although soccer had already existed in the area for a while, the first real Spanish club team didn't really appear until 1889, and that was Recreativo de Huelva. The first official match took place in Sevilla in 1890, and a lot of the teams at the time didn't even really consist of Spanish players. The team faced off against employees from the Sevilla waterworks, and only 2 of the 22 players in the match were actually Spanish. There were about 1,000 spectators at the time, which may not seem like a lot for today's standards, but in 1890 that was a pretty big deal. Soon after, other clubs formed, including the Basques region Bilbao Football Club and another team in the Basque region, the Athletic Club, both of which had a heavy British influence, as the Bilbao Football Club consisted of mostly British shipyard workers, and Athletic Club was students returning from England. As you can see, as a result of that British influence, a lot of the names in Spanish soccer still hold that influence, including titles such as recreation, athletic, and football clubs. You can see this in FC Barcelona, which stands for Football Club Barcelona, as opposed to CF and a lot of other teams, which stands for Club Futbol.
The Catalan Football Championship was the very first football league to exist in Spain. It was established in 1901. However, Spain didn't have an official national league until the creation of La Liga in 1929. The Catalan Football Championship ended shortly after that. The very first season of La Liga had 10 teams participate, with FC Barcelona ultimately winning the title. In 1936, the season was canceled as a result of the Spanish Civil War, and the league was then restored in 1939. Although the number of teams in the league has fluctuated over the years, ranging from 10 to 22 teams, there has been only 20 teams since 1997.
2 of Spain's largest teams, both in La Liga, are Real Madrid and Barcelona, who participate in an event called El Clásico, which essentially takes place every time the 2 teams meet. The first time they met was in 1902. They played in a tournament for the coronation of King Alfonso the 13th. Both teams were at the top of the division from early on, which had a lot to do with the wealth they had. The event El Clásico really started taking root around the Spanish Civil War, which is when supporters of each team started to coincide with people's political views on the Civil War, where Barcelona represented the Spanish Republic and Madrid represented the nationalist movement. This really pitted the 2 teams against each other and created the modern rivalry we have today. On March 1st, 2020, the 244th Clásico game was played. The 2 teams are tied at 96 wins each. Today, it attracts around 100 million viewers worldwide each game. And a lot of that today's viewership stems from the Ronaldo-Messi rivalry, even though Ronaldo no longer plays in La Liga.
Spanish soccer teams have also been successful outside of Spain. Real Madrid has 13 titles in the Champions League, which is a league organized by the UEFA and has the top 32 teams, one of the most prestigious leagues around.
The World Cup is the most prestigious of all football tournaments in the world. It began in 1930 and has been held 21 times since then, because it only occurs every 4 years, with the exception of 2 tournaments that were canceled during the Second World War. Spain is one of only 8 teams to ever have won the World Cup, which they did so in 2010 in South Africa. To show the popularity of the sport, the 2006 World Cup had an estimated 715 million viewers, which equates to about 11% of the entire population of the world. In the picture, you can see the Spanish national team crest with 1 star above it, signifying the one time that Spain has won the World Cup. This picture shows the Spanish national team celebrating after having won the World Cup in 2010.
Soccer plays a huge part of Spanish culture. It's Spain's national sport and easily the most important sport played in the country. Both the club teams and the national team are among the best in the world. So it's really easy to see how important soccer's become as part of building a national identity and nationalism, as well as Spanish social and cultural life. It's a huge, huge sport.